Howdy, heretics! Today we're going to talk about, do activism work? We know it works, but what do the witnesses think? Do the actual cult members acknowledge the fact that our activism work? And if you listen to the end, you will hear about some good news from Salt Lake City. Because there's a lot of people who say you shouldn't do activism because it's you're triggering their persecution complex. So, because a cult like Jehovah's Witnesses, they say we're God's one true religion, so we're attacked by Satan. So whenever someone's protesting, it just proves us being right, because Satan is using the apostates to attack us. So they say we shouldn't do activism because it's just triggering their persecution complex. And some even refer to use loaded language and refer to what we are doing as aggressive activism. And we're not aggressive. But what do the witnesses say? I just came home from the protest in London. We were doing activism outside the Watchtower Convention, the JW Convention in London. And I like talking to the witnesses, and I always start with a positive. I say, we're not protesting the Jehovah's Witnesses. We love the Jehovah's Witnesses. We're protesting some of the guidelines from Watchtower that violate human rights. And what was special this time was that many of the witnesses would answer directly, we don't protect pedophiles. So they brought it up. It was in the top of their head. And that's a half a victory, because we got their attention. And they believe, because of the Watchtower study in May 2019, that, we used to have a problem, but that's all sorted out now. And that's also half a victory, because they acknowledge that we used to have a problem and something needed to be done. So, back to the positive, I said to them, you've done some changes, and that's really, really good. You changed some guidelines, like alleged pedophile is no longer allowed to cross-examine an alleged sexual abuse victim, because that was double victimization the witnesses were doing. And that's good, so kudos for that. But some other changes in the guidelines are not good enough, like when the elders are dealing with a case of sexual child abuse, everything should be oral. And this is to protect the Watchtower. There should be no paper trail. And when there's an elder training event, like an elder school, the elders are allowed to take notes, but these notes will be collected and destroyed afterwards. This is also to protect Watchtower, not to protect children. And if they would focus on protecting children, there would be no need to protect the Watchtower. So when I said that, the elders were like, you're not supposed to know that, that's a secret. But they got the point. And I also said you have to acknowledge that these good changes did not come from the Holy Spirit, because the Holy Spirit could have done this 100 years ago. It come from pressure from Satan's system, or a mentally diseased apostate like myself. So we're doing this out of love. We're doing this because we love you. We have to step out of the religion to help you. I've been on 4 battles. I was pioneer for 10 years. But in order to change, you have to leave, and this comes with a price. And you can't expect the witnesses to say, well, what you're doing is a wonderful thing. I'm wrong about everything. You're right about everything. No one does that in a conversation. You never hear people say, I'm wrong, you're right. Almost never. But especially not a Jehovah's Witness elder on a Jehovah's Witness convention talking to a mentally diseased, demon-possessed, rotting corpse apostate like myself. But they did acknowledge it. One guy said, it's always a good thing to stand up for children. Keep doing what you do. And that is acknowledgement. And now I have even better news from Utah, because our Mormon friends, and especially Sam Young, also getting acknowledgement from PME, TBM, True Believing Mormons. Because Sam Young, he was a Mormon bishop, and he saw something was wrong within his church. They have Wordiness Conference. It means that there's a man between God and a child, and this man is allowed to decide if the child is worthy of God's love, something like that. So he places himself between God and the child, and basically asked, among other things, but also asked the children sexual explicit questions. And that's inappropriate. And some predators take advantage of the situation. So Sam Young, the Mormon bishop, started saying we have to stop doing this. And he was working within the system of the church. It didn't work. He tried again, it didn't work. He had to go to the outside world, make some noise, putting pressure on the church, and he was excommunicated, disfellowshipped. And he kept on pushing, and the Mormon did some changes. So in the current situation, Jehovah's Witnesses done some changes, but it's not good enough. The Mormon church has done some changes, but it's not good enough. So we will keep pushing. And then I found this letter in the Salt Lake Tribune, and they actually, to open here my tablet, acknowledge the fact. It's a fly on the lens, I have to scare it away. It says, letter of the week. Thank excommunicated Mormons for progress. Hearing the announcement over the pulpit about the new hearing initiative for safeguarding Latter-day Saint youth from predatory leaders made me grateful for the work of former members of the church who were forced to sacrifice their membership in order to bring about these changes. Without the advocacy of people like Sam Young, I don't think our church would be experimenting these positive changes. As a group of people, we benefit from the sacrifice of the bold who voice opposition to some of the problematic aspects of our church. Members who would never participate in this opposition still benefit from the advocacy of those the church has officially banished. We have also seen recent changes on women's issues in the temple and the baptizing of gay children due to these heroes. While they are unsung within the walls of our meeting houses, I would like to make my voice heard in expressing my gratitude for them. Sam Young's excommunication letter reads, "The issue is not that you have concerns or even that you disagree with the church guidelines. Rather, it is your persistent, aggressive effort to persuade others to your point of view by repeatedly and deliberately attacking and publicly opposing the church and its leaders." He was not excommunicated for wishing these things were changed, but for publishing them and forcing the church to respond. These tactics tend to eventually work, but not without major consequences for the people seen as the leaders of the movement. I am thankful for these people who put it all on the line to change my church for the better. It's a part of our collective history to grow and change as a living church, still in the process of being restored to perfection. I'm glad these people have accelerated this process. So this is a TBM, Totally Believing Mormon, acknowledging what Sam Young is doing and the sacrifice you have to leave the church in order to change it. So, activism works. Not all the PMIs admit it, but a lot of them do. And you see the church, Mormon church, they also use the loaded language, refer to us as angry apostates, aggressive apostates. I'm not an angry apostate unless someone forget to feed me. I'm not an aggressive apostate. You know, we're out there kissing hands, shaking babies, trying to build bridges, talking to politicians. And many of the witnesses understand that, and that's why we get also help from within battle. So, there will be a march in Salt Lake City. We hope to be 5,000 strong. It's in Salt Lake City. It's ecumenical, but there will obviously be a big number of Mormons. So I've been talking to them and said, we can create a win-win situation, and we will have a protest, and they will have a protest at the same time, because we get better media attention. Media loves us. We are the lovable weirdos, Mormons and Jehovah's Witnesses. So we've been sending some mails back and forth, and I always have a lot of ideas. And I've been talking to Katie Moore, our Mormon friends. And she sent me this mail now. It says, "We'd love to have you organize something, and I try to help where I can, Jonas. Here is some correction to the English in your post. I will just type the whole thing to make it easier. Thank you, Katie. It's very professional." So this is my statement I'm supposed to read. "I've been given the okay to arrange an XJW #AllReligionsMust protest portion of Jehovah's Witnesses to march in the Protect Every Child Children's March, which is an ecumenical movement. Sam Young, the founder of PEC, is hoping the march will be 5,000 men strong. I am hoping at least 20 of those marchers will be clearly identifiable as the JW fraction. We will get more media attention by having the JWs be clearly identifiable as a bloc among the marchers. It also highlights the fact that our shunning is way worse than, so we could never be able to achieve such a goal as 5,000 JW marchers. Because, in this case, 4,970 are still in captivity. PMOs. Would you like to help me arrange it? The ecumenical project Every Child March is happening on October 5th, 2019. Let's be there to draw attention to the plight of all children in all religions." That's the statement. And then the next message says, "Jonas, here's the registration link. Sam wants people to use it, so I will post it. I will also post this letter on my Facebook. So, wouldn't that be fun? We will get so much media attention, and also when you're talking about triggering the persecution complex, because people say, oh, we are the only one being persecuted. Imagine in Salt Lake City when a true believing Mormon is looking down the window at the march and he see the 20 ex-Jehovah Witnesses, and he'll be thinking, why is Satan wasting good apostates on the Jehovah Witnesses? They are not God's one true religion. So we don't trigger the persecution complex because they don't feel singled out. So I really like to go there. We're really making a difference, and we will get a lot of media attention. However, it's obviously I'm burning my candle in both ends. On one hand, I'm not working as much as I should do due to my activism, so not working. And in the other end, I'm traveling around and staying in hotels and stuff. So not working, spending money. But I can still be there in spirit, and I can help arrange it. So please contact me. We have to put up a Facebook page, and we need a planning committee. So please contact me. This will be fun. And see you in paradise.